You wanna be in this? You wanna be in this video? If you have or want to have large plants, but can't see spending $200 or more for a planter, let me show you how to build one that won't break the bank. Hey y'all, I'm Renee, and welcome to Tater Town. So a couple of years ago, I started growing a lot of different plants indoors, and I wanted to experiment with large fruiting banana plants. Be sure to check out my video on that. And these plants required very large planters. And when I started looking for some, I was not so much surprised at how expensive they are, but more annoyed. I really didn't want to spend several $100s on a planter, especially knowing I was going to need more than just one. And I also wanted something that looked nice for inside the house. So I decided to see what I could come up with for a build design. Now, this looks nice, but it's not super craftsman. I do have all the tools and ability to make some crazy designs, but I wanted to keep it super simple, inexpensive, and not very time consuming. And all of this for around $50. Of course, your choice in materials, the size you decide to make it, and even the cost of materials where you live or buy from will determine your overall cost. Also, I use cedar, but there just so happens to be a cedar mill nearby, and they offer B-grade wood, which is much less expensive than A-grade wood. And if you're not familiar with the different grades of wood, B-grade wood is perfectly fine. But it usually has some imperfections, which is why it's so much cheaper. So if you can live with that, I wouldn't waste the money on A-grade wood. As an example, the B-grade cedar was the same price as similar cuts of untreated spruce or pine that you can buy from the big box stores. This particular planter has inner dimensions of 24 inches in length by 23 inches in width, and it's 20 inches in height. Again, that is your inner dimension. You can obviously make it larger or smaller depending on your needs. So let me show you how to build one for yourself. For a planter of this size, you will need 3 untreated 2x4x8s, and these are going to be used for your corners and for the top 2x4s that span the length between the corners. You'll want 4 8-foot long, 5-inch wide, unfinished tongue and groove planks. These are going to be your sides. 3-inch screws to put the corners together. 1 5/8-inch screws to screw the planks to the corners. You're going to have a bottom rail that is 4 pieces of 2x2. And you can either buy your 2x2s or you can rip it down from a 2x4. The top trim is 1 inch by 2 5/8 inch ripped on a table saw from a 1x6. You're going to need nails for the top trim pieces. You could also use screws if you don't have a nailer or you don't want to use nails. You want 3/4 inch plywood for your bottom, some wood sealer, and optionally you can use wheels. You first want to cut your 2x4s into A pieces that are 21 inches long. Next, cut your tongue and groove planks into 16 pieces that are 24 inches long. So once you get everything cut, you're going to end up with 8 2x4s that are 21 inches each in 16 pieces of tongue and groove that are 24 inches apiece in length. Now you can assemble your corners with 2 of your cut 2x4s and 3-inch screws. So we're going to make 4 corners by taking 2 of these. We're going to put 3 3-inch screws, 1 at each side, and 1 in the center. Once you've made the 4 corners, take 2 of the corners and place 4 planks inside. Now, each corner has a long side and a short side. It really doesn't matter the placement, but I wanted to let you know that, since that's definitely something I would ask if I were watching this video. This is going to be the inside of the planter, so you want to decide which side you like better. If you like having a uniform appearance, make sure to keep the same side of the planks facing out. I personally don't like the look of the bead, so I keep the beaded sides facing inward and the smooth sides out. And we're just going to smash it in between the two. Now, I just need to make sure this is squared. These are going to be all the way to the top. And then we're just going to make sure we're square. Once you do that, you're going to screw along here. Using the 1 5/8 inch screws. One of the things you might want to do, you don't have to do it, but I highly recommend pre-drilling your holes for the screws so that you don't risk splitting the wood. Attach the planks to the corners, always making sure nothing moves and you're in square. All right, so again, pay attention to top and bottom because I did not. This is actually the bottom. This is why you shouldn't build things when you're half asleep. All right, and now you have the sides, and this is your basic box. The next thing you want to do is measure your distance between here and here. I'm going to use 2x4 just to give it a little additional support in between these sections, and then we're going to put 1x trim on top. For me, this is 18 1/4. Distance between here and here is 18 1/4, and then here and here is 19 1/2. And then we're going to do this over here as well. And that is also 19 1/2. So I need two pieces, two 2x4s cut at 19 1/2 and two cut at 18 1/4. If you don't have somebody to help you, which I do, but he's running the camera right now, I'm going to go ahead and clamp this together. Make sure we're flush up here, which we are. Okay, and then I'm going to make sure we're flush over here. I'm going to screw from the inside out. Put one in the center. All right, we're going to do that the rest of the way around. You could also add them down below if you wanted. I didn't do that. I might do that for another box in the future. Who knows? But it's not necessary. Next, you want to add some rails to the bottom so you have a place to rest the base of the planter. I'm using pieces of 2x2. But you're going to have two pieces that go in here, and then we're going to cut another two, one here and one to go here, and that's going to be our frame for the bottom. And for added strength, we're gonna add screws going through the entire leg. Now we're gonna attach some trim pieces. The top trim pieces were ripped on a table saw, and they were ripped into the size of 1 by 2 5/8 inch. They were ripped down from a 1 by 6. You will want to double check your measurements and rip these pieces down depending on how yours all comes together. I'm going to use a nail gun to attach the trim pieces, but you can hammer in the nails or even use screws if you'd like. Now that the box is complete, we're gonna go ahead and cut the plywood bottom. You know, I didn't actually have to cut this piece of plywood because I shockingly found a piece of scrap plywood that was the exact dimensions I needed it to be for this particular project. The next thing I'm gonna do is use a wood sealer, and I'm using this brand. I'm not sponsored by them. I don't get it for free or anything. I just started using it a few years ago. Seal It Green is the company, and it's Garden Box Armor. It is an all-natural wood sealer. Cool thing is, this stuff smells so good. It actually smells like a pina colada, but the downside to it is it smells so much like a pina colada that it will make your entire, whatever room you're doing this in, or if you're doing this in your house, it's gonna smell like a pina colada for like a week. So I highly recommend that you do this outside or in a very well ventilated area, because if you're anything like me, having that odor like constantly surrounding you gives me headaches. So if you don't like the smell of pina coladas for a week, do it outside. Stink bug. Yep. Of course, if you're doing this outside, you want to make sure that you are not doing it when it's about to rain. You got to at least wait 24 hours before it gets wet. And I'm just going to do a light coat. Top, bottom, sides. After we let it sit for 5 minutes, we wipe off any of the excess that you see on, and then we'll wait about 30 to 60 minutes to add a second coat. You always want to add a second coat. Let that sit for 5 minutes and wipe off the excess. I cannot speak today. After 5 minutes of sitting with the second coat, you'll wipe off the excess again, and then wait at least 24 hours before you start to use it. The planter box has now had 2 coats and it's been dried for 24 hours. And I am going to put wheels or casters on the bottom of this. If I have this filled up with dirt and plants, it is going to be way too heavy for me to move in or out. So I like adding wheels to the bottom so that I can easily move it from one place to the next. Now you can put them on here, but I feel like this is a nicer place there. If you put them on the 2x2, it's a little more concealed. So I'm just gonna pre-drill this. All right, so this is the finished box. All the wheels are on. You can easily move it. The last thing you're gonna do is put the bottom in. Just gonna slide it in and drop it down. Now you can make any number of modifications to this, especially with the bottom. Put drainage holes in and put something to capture water, especially if this is indoors. But if you have any questions, let me know, and be sure to check out more videos on Tater Town. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you can see more videos that will help you do those things you never thought you could.